as it relates to student housing in the U.S., if somebody had $500 million to invest, I think there's a really large opportunity for investing in core student housing. It hasn't really been exploited yet. European investors for sure seem to be interested in investing in the U.S. They'd like to get core returns because that's what they're used to. Many of the investors have FERPTA and other impediments that won't allow them to put all of their own money into it. So trying to find a way to take down large properties and then find a syndicate of investors, I think would be a great strategy to pursue.
Well, we would invest it in parkings in the center of Amsterdam and in hospital parking, but really selected hospital parking. So only the biggest hospitals, which will be there for at least the next 20, 30 years, and which are really expert centers in all their specializations.
Okay, good. Ruud.
Well, in contrast to Mathijs, I think I would go actually for the long run, and I would invest my money in countries where you still have low tariffs, but where you can expect, given also the increase in cars, that the tariffs would go up, so that the long-term value of your property is secured. And those countries, well, you typically see them in Eastern Europe, gradually developing, or in countries like India or China, which I think have where the car park market will blossom.
The only question is if there will be restrictive parking policy like in Europe.
That'll come, I'm sure. Okay. You know, we didn't have them 10, 20 years ago also in countries where you currently have them in Europe. So.
500 million, it's a lot of money in student housing. If you'd ask me where to invest it and have to invest it kind of at once, there's, I guess, only two places where that's possible at the moment, where you could buy portfolios or whatever for 500 million. That would be the US or the UK. But since I'm kind of cheerleading Europe, I feel like I need to do something in Europe, and that's really difficult because I think 500 million euros is probably not so far off the entire investment sum in the sector in Europe, excluding the UK last year. So
for you, I'll cut it down to 50 million and I'll spend the rest.
All right, that's very generous of you. No, if I go back to 500, I'd okay. Really like to crack the
you give some to us, okay?
Okay.
We will invest.
I'll buy some parking. No, I'd really like to crack the French market. Like, it's really difficult, and I know a lot of people have tried, but everybody is looking at Germany at the moment, and France is a tough market because of regulations and all kinds of tax things that are complicated. But with 500 million euros, you should be able to do something there.
Okay, good. Dirk.
I can think of many things that I can invest 500 million in actually quite easily, but if I look at it in my sector, I would probably look at something that has not been discussed here, realizing that 75% of the world in the next 35 years will be living in cities is a trending topic, so concentration will be coming. You have to think ahead. But if I think at Europe and Western Europe, we'll see a lot of people aging, and we're dealing with older people and elderly people, and therefore care houses and housing and systems and conglomerates are becoming extremely important. And I would put every one of the 500 million cents in a concept that deals with investing now. People who are touching 50 and are over 50, they need to start investing in their future if they don't want to end up in a 4x4 box with the communal area playing bingo all day long. And I think that's where a lot of investment needs to go to, and that's not a subject that is being dealt with properly yet. And I think the world is wide open, the opportunity is wide open to invest in there, and I'll put every one of the 500 million in that.